Now what I'd like to do is get rid of all the fields that Adobe has automatically created on this PDF file. So I'm going to click a particular field, press Ctrl A to select all fields, and notice they all highlight in here as well. And I'm just going to press the delete key and get rid of all the fields that Adobe stuck in, and instead I'm going to create my own fields. So the first field I want to create is to the right of name. Now up here in the Prepare Form toolbar are a variety of fields you can put in, and what I want to start with is just a text field. So I click the text field and then I click to the right of name. Here I can give the field a name, so I'm going to call it full name, and personally I think you shouldn't have spaces in your field names. I can go into all properties and I'll see all the properties, and I can add a tooltip that says please enter your full name. And that's what will pop up when they rest on this particular field. Now it is a text field, though there are all sorts of different types of fields that you can have, so company, email, date, but this is a text field and anybody can enter it, and it is required. So I'm going to tick this as required, and under options I'm going to say that there is a limit of 50 characters when they enter a full name, and close. Now if they enter their full name in this field, I want it to automatically repeat that name in this field further down. So what you can do is you can actually right click a field, and I'm going to go create multiple copies. And I want to make 2 fields down and 1 across, and OK. And so that creates a second instance of full name. I'm then going to drag the second instance and put it down here. I'm then going to rename, just by right clicking and renaming. I'm going to rename the field full name #1 and click away, and you see it there. And then I'm going to right click this one and rename this one full name #2. These are now linked. Oops, that didn't work. Right click, rename, and call it full name #2. Maybe tab and click away. Okay, so when you fill in full name 1, it'll automatically update full name 2, and when you change full name 2, it'll automatically update full name 1. So that saves them having to type the same information more than once in a form. You can create like a cross-reference. Okay, now what I'd like to do is add another field, and this is also a text field, so I'm going up to my toolbar and clicking text field. I'll click to the right of address. I'll go into all properties, I'll go into general, and I want to call it address and tell them to please enter your postal address. It is a text field that can be filled by anyone, and it is required. I'm now going to go up to options, and I'm going to say that they can enter multiple lines into this field. And I also want to not check the spelling because addresses can be so diverse. And I also want to limit it to 100 characters. And close. And so that's the address done. I'm now going to add another text field to the right of phone. I'll go into all its properties, I'll go to general, and it's called phone. Please enter your phone number, and it's required, and I'm going to limit the number of characters to 20 and close. And then I'm going to add a date field. So I don't use a text field, I go over to here and I use a date field. I'll click this button and I'll click to the right of date. I'll go into all properties and I want to go to general and I'll call it date complete. Please enter date completed. The field type is a date. It can be entered by anyone and it is required. And close. And I've created a date field. Now also there's a date down here, so I want to create a cross-reference to that. So I'm going to right click this field and create multiple copies. 2 across, 1 down, and OK. Drag this instance, oops, don't resize it, undo. Drag this instance down to here. I'm going to name this one, right click, rename, date completed, date complete, #1, take a copy of that, tab, and then click away. And this one I'm going to rename date completed #2, tab, got rid of it again, paste it, 2, and tab, and click away. So again, these two are linked. If I change one, it will change the other one. Now, I'd like to create a drop down. How did you hear about us? That is this button here. This is a drop down list. I click it, and then I click over here, and I go into all properties. I want to name it how, and tell them to select an option. I want to make sure it's required, and then I'll go to options, and I'll enter the first item. Did they hear about us through internet? Add. Did they hear about us through radio? Add. Or by newspaper? Add. Or a friend? Add. Or other? Add. So you can add as many items that you want to appear in your drop down. And I want to sort the items so it sorts them from F to R. And I'll choose close, and there's my drop down. And I'm actually going to stretch it so it takes up the full length of that cell. And that's my drop down created. Now I'm going to create a tick box. So up here in my toolbar, I'll just go for this button here, a tick box or a check box. And I'll put this to the right of question 2. And I'll go into all properties, and I want to give it the name rate. And I will say, please rate. Now, I want to give it the choice under options. Oh, sorry, I've got a bit mixed up. No, go back to general. This is not called rate. This one is would. Rate's coming up shortly. And instead, this is, sorry, tick for yes and clear for no. So this is a tick box. All right, so tick it for yes and clear it for no. And it is required, and just close. And that's my tick box created. Now, the rating, which is the next question, this is an option button or a radio button, and it looks like this on the toolbar. So I'm going to click this, click here, maybe click over a bit, maybe here, and I'll go into all properties. And really what I want to do is I want to name this rate. I want to say that it's required, and under the radio button choice, I'll go into options. I want to make this choice be excellent. So I'm going to create 3 radio buttons, and they will have the choice of choosing excellent, fair, or unsatisfactory. And I want them to show as circles. And so this is going to be the excellent. This button is checked by default. You could make it that it was checked by default, but I'm just going to go close. All right, now I'm going to make another radio button to the right of this, and this is going to be all options. This is going to be the option fair. And under general, it's already got the name rate, and it's already got required, so it recognizes that these are interrelated. So I close that, and now I create a 3rd radio button. And this one is for unsatisfactory. So it remembers the word rate, it remembers required. I just go to options and say that this choice is the unsatisfactory choice. And close. Now, I want to edit the PDF and just put excellent on this side and unsatisfactory on this side so that they know that they rate it one of those 3. So I go edit PDF, and I'm going to add some text, and I'll add it over here saying that this option is, this side of the scale is excellent. And I might even reduce, just select the text, reduce the font size to maybe 8 or 9. Yeah. And then I'm going to add some text over here that says unsatisfactory. and again select it and change that to 9. It's actually remembered it. I'll choose to go back to edit, go back to prepare form, and I'll choose to move this over a little bit, so you can move these ever so carefully. That's more towards the excellent side of things. That's more, you've got to get this sort of solid arrow, where is it? There, that one. That's more towards the unsatisfactory edge. And moving around. Maybe I'll zoom in. It'll be easier to select it. There it is. And then move that sort of in between. That's the fair option. So if you have trouble sort of selecting the mouse pointers, just hold the control key and wheel in to zoom in and wheel back to zoom out. Now you may also want to align these because they're slightly out of kilter. I'll click this one, hold the shift key and click this one, and I'll align them towards the top. And so they're aligned to the top, and I may even distribute them evenly horizontally using this button, and that'll make them equidistant between each button. Okay, so those are my 3 radio buttons, and they get to choose excellent or fair or unsatisfactory, and that's what a radio button does. Now let's add a signature field. I want to add a signature field to the right of signature, and the signature field looks like this with a little X. I click that, and then I want to click here to the right of my signature, and I'll go into all properties. I want to name it literally signature. I want to put the tooltip, add signature here. The field type is signature, and it is required, and close. And so that's my signature field added there. And I just want to arrow that over a little bit. You could align these, that one, hold the shift, that one, and align to the left. And that lines them up. If you want to match their width, just select them all again and match the size. And so that matches the size of them and lines them up. Maybe do the same with these. Just holding the shift key and selecting them all. Match the size so they're all the same width, and then align them to the left. And that just tidies those up as well. Okay, now let's save this. Now what do I want to save this file as? Have I written a name? Let me just check for one moment. Yes, it should have been saved as survey form. I'm going to go Control-Shift-S and save it probably to the desktop and just call it survey form and save. All right, so that's all saved and those fields are in there. Brilliant. Now the next thing is using the fill and sign tool. I want to add my signature just to the bottom here. So I'm going to go to my tools, and in this whole forms and signature area, there is a fill and sign tool. It looks like this, a pencil, purple pencil. This is saying open, so it means I have added it to my tools pane. So I can go back to my document and I can click the little purple pencil. Now what this will allow me to do is this will allow me to sign myself. And so I can choose sign yourself. And it actually remembers me. I can remove all the signatures, done, and recreate, sign yourself. And I'm going to add a signature. And then you just start drawing you draw your signature. So I'm just going to try and draw my signature. There it is there. And I'll apply it. And then I click down here and I can stretch it and it's assigned my signature to this document. Excellent. And it remembers that. So now it's got a memory of my signature. I can also add my initials if I wanted to. I can also delete my signature if I wanted to and update it. So I've actually added my own signature and I want to save the form again. So save. All right. Now I'm ready to send this document and request a signature and get the document filled in. So I need to return to my Prepare Form button, and I really need to request e-signatures. So I'm going to click this button at the bottom of the Prepare Form pane. And in here I can enter the email address of the recipient, maybe myself, and please review and complete this form. So I'll be requested to sign the form. And if I then, that's what the form that will be sent. I can add any further files if I need to. I can even add a CC. But specify where to sign is what I'm going to click next. And when the document is successfully sent, I will be able to manage that form by going in to my Manage All Agreements. So I'll hit send. That's all looking good, and hit send, and that will send that and request that they successfully fill it in and that they sign it. All right, so then I'll close, and I'll close the file, close, file. Now, if I want to check whether that document or agreement has been signed, I can click this All Agreements option in my home view. And from there, I can choose my survey form. And from there, I'll go next, and I have to actually sign in. You may have to accept and continue to accept the terms of use. But basically, I can see that the agreement, please review and complete, activity tells me that it was viewed by me at this date and time. It was sent to this address on this date and time. It was created. And so email viewed. And so I can send out a reminder if necessary. Please add a reminder to sign it. Or I can cancel the agreement completely just by hitting this option here. And I can enter a reason why I'm cancelling this particular document. So please review and complete this document. And basically, yeah, that's waiting now. It has not been signed. It's waiting to be signed by that person. So you can check how your agreements are progressing.